General Cele. We were at the meeting at the high-end Beverly Hills Hotel when you met there with Mr. Mbongoshi and Mr. Matlala.
Yes.
So when you were asked by Mr. Mbongoshi to meet, or rather, let me ask you this: did he tell you that you were going to meet someone interesting, someone of interest, someone important? What did he tell you before you went to the Beverly Hills Hotel, or did you just go with him?
Well, he wanted to see me. He's a KZN boy, so it's December, I'm sure we're all in holiday. So I have met him before, Mabonga. So I have met him before. So he has I think he has not a private security company himself, Mabonga. And then he did come to me and said, look, you're out of government. If you're in Joburg, you can use my services to take you from here to there. Though I haven't used much of his services, but like a boy, I see, I've said yes the once or twice. So Mabonga was quite easy, and we have been meeting with him.
So let me just.
So when he said you want to see me, no many questions will follow from me to him.
And he comes in his private jet, did you say?
Who now?
Matlala?
I don't know how it came about. Okay. I don't know how it came about.
Oh, I thought I heard you said he. Yeah.
I think it does have a private jet. I think it does have a private jet because as he speaks, he's a person that would not have hours of coming in
waiting at the airport,
yeah,
in a lounge or in the public area, like us.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Not like you in the VIP lounge. But seriously, did you know of Matlala? Anything about him? Or did you know of him as a businessman, business person?
It's exactly what I'm saying, that I read about him 2 weeks before I met him, and I was saying to myself, when I continue to engage with him and I see him and I see his records, I ask myself, how did he manage to fly below radar for him to know? Because most of his kind, one would know before there is a story about him on the paper and the money. I didn't know him.
But now that you met him, what was your impressions of him? I mean, you've been involved in the police. I'm sure you have a sense better than us ordinary citizens about people you interact with, and especially a sense of, what they're doing. Is it the right thing or the wrong thing, or you at least have a suspicion about something? What were your impressions?
There will be two matters here, SC. As I've said, that he has really managed to fly below the radar. As I've said, that I would know Keke, I would know people like PP and other those guys. I know people like Mashobane from Ashratville and all that. So I didn't. Now I know him, I've spoken to him, I've engaged him. I had somebody being interviewed from Mamelodi saying he's a very good, kind person. They know he's a person that helps them. looking at him from the very word go, remember, I've met here a person that I don't know has been arrested, has not been arrested. Looking at him, he looks a cool guy. As you definitely look at him, he looks a cool guy. Until you begin to hear, you begin to get records. For instance, I was looking at the withdrawn cases and all that kind of stuff, and I said, this one is too long. How does he manage to fly below all of us? Because withdrawn cases are done by courts. Which means the police have taken him to court.
Yes.
So, but as I've said, you begin to look him with a new eye than the person that you have ordinarily met.
Okay. Now, were you aware, or did you know, or were you involved in the award of this 360 million rand Tswane contract? Because that tender was awarded during your term as Minister of Police.
Well, I think there are billions of tens that are issued from the police.
But not this big.
I don't know, but I wouldn't say it can't happen. We might come back to that. I wouldn't say it can't be that big. I think they could be big, but I don't know. But looking at the operations and things that are done, it could be some money with the tenders. For instance, I would guess that the tender of buying cars is big. I don't know how much it would be, but when police buy cars, they buy cars in a big way. I would guess so. I think the other tender that would have been big is a tender of laboratories. Once upon a time, we had a serious problem about laboratories, the DNA in South Africa. It was a mess. And you discovered that 16 contracts were not renewed. And I don't know how much it would take to renew those things. The IT is quite big, the IT with the South African police. The guns, the bullets. Remember, the bullets are not only chasing criminals. There's a lot of bullets that are used for training. So I guess that will be. But that does not reduce this, that is big. But I would not absolutely say this is the biggest. I guess they are big, but this one also, especially for the individual, is quite big.
So when you met him, you didn't know, or you weren't aware that he had secured this 360 million rand tender?
Indeed, after I've read 2 weeks before I met him, I knew he had this tender.
So you did some research on him before you met him?
No, it was an article in the paper that he is the guy that is got links with Tembisa issues has again won this big tender with another government department, which happens to be the police. So it was an article somewhere. I can't remember.
I think that was the article that appeared in News 24 about Matlala.
Well, I can't remember the publication, but it was on the media.
But didn't that arouse or raise your suspicions about him? Because that's what the article suggests, is that this is a person, this is a guy, who's connected. Forgive me, I don't know exactly what the article said, but if I recall, it suggests that he is not clean, that he's shady. And here you, as a former Minister of Police, you go and meet such a person. And we know that he's come to meet you to ask you for assistance?
As I've said, that when I met him for the first time, I asked if he's Matlala, and I was not told by Mabonga that who am I meeting. So, but, and again, I have read that stories, but the stories and the man that is being suspected would have to be confirmed by talking and engaging after we have engaged, rather than to say, I read the story from you and then I run away. Especially in the environment that we work. Sometimes these stories you want to follow because you want to see what else can you do to reach the other elements of what you have heard, what you have seen.
Now, you say that is when he explained that he had been approached to fund a project by someone who aims to be the ANC president or deputy president, and the Minister Mkunu's name was mentioned.
Correct.
And that Brown Mogotsi had met with him and Mr. Minister Mkunu. Why would they have mentioned that to you? You are now, even as we speak, I don't think, are you still active in the political arena? Why would they mention this specifically to you?
Who? Brown?
Matlala. Yes.
Because it says my name was mentioned. Okay. To say, we'll work well with you so long you don't work with Zuma and Cele. In that particular meeting. So that's one reason. Once you see me, he realizes that it's being abused. But the second one is an affidavit that was to be prepared to arrest Sibia.
Yes.
Not Sibia. Kumalo. General Tumsan Kumalo. Too many because there are other Kumalos that are still coming. This is Tumsan Kumalo.
Just one moment, Honorable Malema.
No, Minister, I just want you to confirm that you are still active, because the question almost suggested that you are no longer politically active.
No, politically I'm active. I'm still the member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, and still have some activities in the province where I come from.
Okay. So
Okay.
that part of the information that Matlala was funding.
SC, just before we proceed, let me recognize the presence of the following two members of Parliament, Honorable Kobe from Action SA and Honorable Slepe from the MKP. Thank you so much, Honorable members, for giving yourself time to join our proceedings. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. So that would be of interest to you. This is a bit of political information that that Matlala is funding the ambitions of someone in the party. So that would be of interest to you.
Well, surely they would, because as an active member, I would have my preferences. But this information was not invited by me. But I would not say I don't want to hear it.
Okay. So now you're actually meeting him for the first time, and you're getting this information from Matlala. Now, surely your impressions, your perception of him must be changing. What are you thinking now after hearing this?
No, there are no perceptions that are changing. I've met a person that I do not know, has given me this information, and there is an action that I need to take. The action that I need to take is that the court Khumalo should not go to court, because Khumalo going to court is not genuine. Is to put him there, he loses the case and is disciplined, and I guess the aim is to take him out of police, especially having come from the person that I knew. They were not very close, him and Isbia. So I had to action that.
Now, Minister,
SC,
you,
there is Honorable James behind.
Thank you, Chair. It is just a clarity-seeking question, because I recall posing a question yesterday to Minister Senzo, asking him if he had met with Brown and with Kat to discuss a certain project about a campaign for president or deputy president. I told him that's part of your testimony, and he said it's a blatant no. So just clarity, because I heard you touching on it. Did you now say that Kat told you that there was indeed a meeting where Minister Senzo was present with Brown and himself?
They spoke about the project.
And spoke about the project for the ANC
Yes, it did.
president, indeed.
Yes, it
And
did.
the minister denied it yesterday.
Well, he really did tell me that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
May we proceed? Honorable James, are you okay? May we proceed? Thank you. SC?
thank you, Honorable Chair. General, you have so much of experience in the police portfolio. You're sitting opposite a very well-heeled person in a high-end hotel who's asking you to collude with him effectively to defeat the ends of justice. He's asking you for a favor to make sure that one of your best, maybe our best, police officers, Khumalo, must not conclude an investigation into him. Why didn't you get up and say, but I didn't come here for this. This is objectionable. This is outrageous. How did you respond to that?
Did I hear well when I said I spoke to Matlala to stop Khumalo investigating?
Yes.
No.
But I'm sorry, General, just so that you understand what I'm asking or putting to you clearly.
Okay.
What he's asking you is to break the law when he says you must do something for him. And he's telling you, you know, what Sabia wants to do. This involves very much the PKTT on the one hand and the Gauteng syndicate on the other end, involving Molefe, Matlala, and he's sitting right in front of you.
SC, I don't know Matlala as we meet at Beverly.
Yeah.
By the way, Beverly is high end, but I eat breakfast every Sunday there. So to me, it's quite next door to me. Secondly, he doesn't talk to me about stopping him being raided or arrested. He talks to me being approached to do things so that Khumalo can be arrested.
Yes.
That's hence the affidavit to say Khumalo did not just raid, it was illegal, but not only that, the theft. Is Matlala working or through Sbia that is taking Khumalo to court? But Matlala does not want to face Khumalo in court because he doesn't want to jeopardize the relationship with the police since he has this tender from the police. It would be good, then Matlala realizes that he's being abused or used to achieve other ends rather than what was there as a raid on that particular day. So Matlala raises the issue that he would love that the matter that is going to court could be settled out of court, because going to court is not genuine. Going to court is to make sure that Khumalo is found wanting, that he will lose the case that he was unlawful. If then Khumalo loses the case, somebody who happens to be Spear will then put discipline to him and be able to take him out of, or punish him or take him out of the organization.
Yes, General, it sounds to me, and I may not be alone in this room thinking like what I'm going to tell you, that he wants to draw you into a conspiracy to neutralize Khumalo. That's what it's about ultimately. Now, perhaps at the time, it didn't occur to you, or you weren't conscious of it.
No.
Because no, to be fair, because you then suggest, well, you must have a meeting with Khumalo, isn't it? Let me just read from your affidavit so that I don't put words in your mouth. You said, I advised Mr. Matlala that he needed to meet with Lieutenant General Khumalo to discuss the matter.
Indeed.
And the charges he was instructed to bring against him and the team that had raided his property on 6 December 2014. Now you, especially as Minister of Police, former Minister, better informed than the ordinary person, it's at least alleged that he's involved in criminal activity. And you would expect, especially that Khumalo was involved in the raid on his house on the 6th of December. So you should have been more aware than most of us that Matlala is trying to induce you to do something which is not lawful.
Well, SC, maybe that's correct, but my angle is that at the end of the day here is Khumalo who's going to pay last victim, and that is what I could not agree with. Hence, I got involved, because if Khumalo loses the case that is going to court next week, is getting disciplined. But if the case, that's why Matlala meeting Khumalo is to brief him about what Sibia has conspired against Khumalo. My angle is not saying don't raid Matlala. My angle is that, if anything, which I did not know that Matlala is being investigated and all that kind of thing. But I've got no angle of Matlala. My angle is this Khumalo who is put on a trap of going to court, understanding that he's taking somebody, and is not him, by the way, SC. It's not Khumalo that is taking Matlala to court. It's Matlala who's taking Khumalo to court for unlawful, which does not come from him, which he has been pushed through. So my angle here is that we can't have Khumalo that will go to court and lose and then get out of the system. That's my angle on this matter. But I don't deny that looking at this under angle, would have benefited Matlala on it. But my sole focus here is that nobody should take Khumalo to court, not genuinely so, but to make sure that Khumalo becomes a victim at the end of the day.
Well, it also relates to a huge tender, 360 million rand tender that had been awarded to him. And now he says, look, I don't want this award to be prejudiced or, as it turned out, terminated because of my involvement in this issue involving Khumalo, involving Sabia, the fight between them. So please help me out. That's the nub of this story here.
Well,
That's why you're being called to this meeting.
Well, two things. Indeed, is if this contract is not cancelled, it will benefit, no doubt about it. But that's not my angle. My angle is that Khumalo, I don't know what Kholelo part is, but is not lured to the problem. Khumalo, that my angle here and my gist of here, I want to believe that if there was no Khumalo and him going to court about this matter would have ended there. Even if maybe it was a raid from other people that I do not know, I would not have pursued. The issue here for me, SC, is Khumalo.
But we know you didn't go and speak to Khumalo about it.
I did speak to Khumalo.
When? Afterwards?
Yes, I did
Because
speak.
I would have thought you would have said, look, hold it.
No.
Because now you only have one side of the story.
No, I
that
did-
is from Matlala.
I did speak to Khumalo
Yes.
about his going to court, and going to court is this what Matlala says as planned with Sibia. Hence, Sibia pushes Matlala to take Khumalo to court. So I did. And Khumalo was going to raise it with his lawyers to see how it go about. Because the issue now was that him being taken to court is not genuine that he's being taken to court because of illegal, but he's being taken to court so that he becomes a victim and takes out of the system. But I did speak to Khumalo. What I do not know is that if Khumalo did speak to Matlala, I don't know that. But the case was dropped, and I guess lawyers did speak. But whether Khumalo did speak to Matlala, because Khumalo would have known more about the rate and pursuance of Matlala than me. Maybe without telling me, he would not speak to. But I did suggest that what Matlala is briefing me about, he must brief Khumalo. I did say so.
But it's still, even after this meeting or this encounter, and after you had spoken to Khumalo, surely, or let me just pause at that point. After you spoke to Khumalo, after this meeting, did Khumalo not explain to you why the raid happened?
No, it didn't.
Didn't you ask him about it?
No, I didn't ask about the rate, and he didn't tell me about the rate, why they were raiding.
But I thought that was the whole reason why Matlala wanted you to intervene and speak to Khumalo. He's not telling you, and I'm reading from paragraph 69, you said, Mr. Matlala explained that Lieutenant General Sabia had written an affidavit on his behalf, alleging that during the raid on his home, Mr. Matlala's Rolex watch was stolen by members of the PKTT, seconded to the Gauteng County Intelligence Operations. However, the Rolex was in Mr. Matlala's possession and had not been stolen. So I thought you would tell Khumalo, look, this is what I've been told.
My angle here was that Khumalo was being lured to trouble. To say taking him to court has got nothing to do with illegality of the raid, but is used as a transit towards his being disciplined, because he will have to lose the case in court, and then his seniors, which happens to be, because he reports to this Deputy National Commissioner, who is Sibisi, who is this interior motive of sending Matlala. But Matlala says, now I realize that I'm being used. So please tell Khumalo that it's not me, it's Sibia. So the case that is taken by Matlala, he wants to drop it so that Khumalo is not taken to this grinding machine by Sibia through Matlala. I'm saying the angle of me talking and entertaining this matter is that angle of Khumalo telling him that is not Matlala, but there is somebody behind Matlala.
Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I just need some clarification from the General. I think if I heard him correctly, he said that Matlala made an indication to him that he is worried that if he continues with laying a charge against Khumalo, that might put his contract, or it might expose his contract to danger. Now, what I need clarity on, General, is what were you concerned about here? Were you concerned about Matlala losing a tender, or Khumalo being unfairly treated? I just need clarity on that.
Maybe let's repeat the words of Matlala to say, I don't want to go in conflict with the police because I don't want to lose, I don't want the conflict with the police because I have this contract. So I don't want to lose because I'm fighting with the police. I'm saying, Honorable Member, my consent was Khumalo issue being taken to this machine with an understanding that he needs to lose at the end of the day. But I'm not denying that Matlala himself could have benefited in that process of saving his contract. But that's not the main issue here. The main issue is Khumalo that is taken to court, and he must lose the court and that discipline and taken out of the system.
I'll pursue it during my turn, Chair.
Thanks, Honourable Chair. General Cele, did I understand you to say that you read this News 24 article about Matlala before the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Now that article is at page 71. It's BC 8.
Page
70.
81.
Yeah, BC 8, 71 and 72. Yeah.
Yes, I'm there.
So before you met with Matlala, you would have had some idea of who this is.
Yes, after reading this article.
And this article is what one can describe as quite unflattering.
Quite
Unflattering.
unthreatening.
Yeah. We're not going to, we've had a lot of the dictionary in this hearing so far. It's an article which is not kind to Mr. Matlala.
Oh, yes.
It portrays him as someone who is involved in murky dealings. Of course, I don't rely on this article for what's contained in it. But if I had to read this article before meeting someone, and I do meet him, even if I didn't know I was going to meet him, I'd probably jump up immediately and leave. I mean, this is just randomly look at it's about the Tembisa Hospital fraud investigation. He's now entangled in a case involving the kidnapping of a woman and a child. Then it talks about following a raid on his home. Then in court papers, so he's involved there. There's the 360 million. Then it talks about Kobile, Dikhale, and her 9-year-old son were abducted. And then it ends with with a reference to the late Babita Deokaran, the late but famous whistleblower. But 3 weeks after that, she was killed. So the whole thrust of the article, quite frankly, portrays him as a dark character.
I agree.
You met with him.
Maybe, SC, we don't come from the same world of understanding matters. I said to you, the call comes from prison. It tells me that in a certain lodge at Tulundi, there are people who are sitting there with the AKs, and they are ready to kill this ex-Ingos. And I say, I speak to provincial commissioner. He goes there and says, he finds the information as is. I could have said to a person who's calling from prison, don't phone me. Don't call me. And Inkosi dies.
Okay.
If there are few criminals, that you would know, they are top. If that criminal phones you, he phones me, and I know him, to say, SCRNs will be assassinated, and I say, look, you are a criminal. Don't phone me, don't talk to me about any other things, and you are assassinated. And I come to tell the story that, by the way, this criminal phoned me, and I did not do anything. I agree. There are meetings that you would do. Let me tell you one story of a person that I met who is a king of Zamazamas. Actually, there are two Zamazamas. One, I forget his surname, is a Soto guy because this guy, Zamazamas are mostly also run from Lesotho. I met him. Later, that guy is arrested. But he was to meet me to give me information. Okay? The second thing that could not be made direct, there is a guy called LL. I don't know if you know a guy called LL, SC. His name is Louis Lubenberg. He's a king of Zamazamas. He cleans diamonds and everything. He's millions and millions. He finds MKP. He maybe finds Baba and through him MKP because he paid 500,000. He paid 500,000 for the case to be for the private case to be taken to court. I think taking case privately, you pay. He paid that money. And he has been arrested. He's in prison as I speak for running diamond. He has appeared in court, and MK has been in court supporting him every day when he goes to court. Now, I don't know whether they don't know that, but the crux of the matter is that you can meet somebody and get later how deep that person is. But if you work in security, SC, you can't say, I can't meet you, because that kind of information from that person could be the lifesaver of many other things. So understand where I come from. By the way, I do meet criminals. I do. And the information can be broader used than not having met him. Others, there are those that are obvious, like the Cape Town one. Really, I can't meet Medoc. I can't meet Nassif. I can't meet those guys. But those, because you know how far have they gone, it might not help you. You can even, those guys say, meet so and so and send the officer to that person. But some of these guys will refuse to say, I am not going to give this information because if I give this information to somebody different, it might come back to bite me. But this is a world that we live in from the work that we are doing or we were doing, SC.
So, if because of time, General, if I can just move on. So, you met Matlala again several times after that.
Yes.
Why?
This question of politics, Matlala, me, and Mkhunu has come on play, because Matlala begins to feed me things that either Mohodzi or Mkhunu, they are fitting to him. Basically, some of them, they are targeted to Khumalo. I must come up front. I've worked with Khumalo. I've seen his work. I think I don't know his dark side, but he's one, if he does have one, but he's one corp that I will protect. Khumalo. He's one corp that I'll protect. So, and it's like Mkhwanazi himself. For me, he remains a good cop. People, they've asked that he has spoken things about you. I said, separate a good cop to the human being, because that is a good cop. It doesn't mean he's a perfect human being. We can come back to that. But there are those people that I will protect, knowing very well how much are they contributing towards the proper working of the organization called the police, but also knowing very well that if they get hurt, it might hurt the organization. So if I have any way of protecting and helping on that, I will do. And Khumalo is one of those people. So Matlala kept coming with information about me and about Khumalo. So if he says, there is something new that has come up, here it is, I will definitely go and listen. That will include, don't know if I'm going too far. That will include him telling me that he has been given an article, SC.
Yes, I'm listening.
He has been given an article that's talk about me and Masimula. That article is a 2012 article from a guy called Pandey. Pandey was arrested in KZN for the inflation of the accommodation of 2010 accommodation. So now it goes Matlala stroke Mkhotsi. But the theory of them getting is that Matlala tells me that Mkhunu is preparing to arrest me for having got in the corruption of the 2010 tender. Here is an evidence. Somebody will have to tell me how does that article find its way, either Mkhotsi stroke Matlala. But looks, the theory of it is that Matlala is being assured that Cele will be arrested. Remember, by now, it is known that by Mkhunu that Matlala links with Cele, but Matlala has been told that he should not mix up with Cele. So now he is told that this article will make me to arrest your man.
So why would Minister Mkhunu want you to be arrested?
You can answer that best.
Sorry, General.
You can answer that best.
But this is what you're hearing from Matlala.
Yes.
So he also peddles this information about Minister Mkhunu, about Toshan Pandey. So this is all part of this.
That actually arrest me and Masimula because we were involved in corruption of 2010. So this is 2025. This article came in 2012, where this guy made the claim. Now it finds its way to Matlala stroke Mkhotsi.
And you say in paragraph 74 of your statement that after that first meeting, there were several other encounters with Mr. Matlala in which he explained this project. Is that the project involving Mkhotsi and Minister Mkhunu?
Of him becoming a president or deputy president.
Yeah, which he's working
I don't
on.
know which one, but Matlala also didn't know whether it's president or deputy president.
So you can't recall exact dates of these meetings or encounters?
No, definitely. Remember, SC, I'm not working now. I don't have the diary where these things checking. I'm no more working. I'm not in the government. I'm just a South African. So I'm not going to be checking the date. When do I see you? And I don't have any PA to ask. When did Matlala? PA is not even there to talk about Matlala. So really, if you want me dates, I'll struggle to get dates. When even this one of coming here now, I was reminded by my wife. So she still helps me, but I didn't tell her about Matlala's wife.
WhatsApp.
No, I didn't tell her about Matlala's date.
Okay. Now, or give us more or less, give us a month. January, February, March of 2025. You can't remember which month you met?
Meeting him.
Yes. After the Beverly Hills.
I think we did meet in January. I think we did meet in January.
Okay.
I think we did meet in January.
All these encounters.
No, not all these encounters. Not the encounters. The encounters were intense in January after we've met, the Kumalo thing, and at a certain given point, I don't know when, the issue of the irregular tender then comes. Maybe one major thing that happens here, Mabonga died. Mabonga, the person who links me and it dies, it gets shot at place called what, Low, in Gauteng. Mabonga was a rash guy, almost close to the dead, and Bangazita would know his father. So was a very rash guy. I remember that I was told that the day he was shot, he was with 12 bodyguards. He died with 2 bodyguards in Sentin. So while I speak to Kat, Mabonga is part of facilitation of the meetings. Okay. Now, as Mabonga dies, I don't have number for Kat, and it doesn't have number for me. And the one question that was asked by the journalist is that Kat is my friend. He asked 2 things: that is my friend and a business partner. That is the News 24 journalist. I said to the journalist, I don't have a friend called the Kat. I don't know his house. I don't know his wife. It doesn't know my house. It doesn't know my wife. Doesn't know my family and all. So it can't be my friend. He's an acquaintance because we talk to him about issues. Secondly, the journalist argues that he sent the message to the management of Capitac, where he has this flat/penthouse, saying to the management, this is my friend, Bheki Cele is my friend and a business partner. If he comes there, please open the place to sleep. I must admit, SC, it would be nice to get a free place to sleep. It would be nice to go to Pretoria and sleep free when you don't work. Even if you work, you would have taken it, but then report and declare that has happened. But it's not true that I'm his business partner. I say to the journalist, that's an easy question to deal with. Go to the register, those people, property, and those register business. Pull where I've registered as a business partner and say, you are a business partner of Matlala. So don't ask me something that you can prove very easy. So, simply put, I did say to journalists, he's not my friend, I'm not the business partner. So, I must raise an issue here about the journalist. I guess he's a good journalist, but I wonder if he's not having a narrative in this matter. Whatever narrative that comes from. For instance, the journalist phones me and says, you have phoned Matlala 10 times. I says, yes, I have. And he says, you have sent him messages. I said, no, I don't send messages. But the journalist writes the story of 10 times, use terms frantic, whatever. But he also says, I have had 100 times encounter through the messages. When I've told the journalist that I don't send the messages, that's the first one that I begin to say, this journalist, and we had a problem because not as honorable member Cameroon. He was treating me like a schoolboy, this journalist. And we have a serious encounter. When the journalist come back to me now to write the story of the meeting with Kat at Zimbabwe, because I had a meeting with Kat at Zimbabwe.
You met him on the 18th of March
Yes,
at Zimbali.
Senior
Yes, at
Counsel.
So
Zimbali.
you've met him again.
Let me take Honorable Malem. I think he has a follow-up on the statement that you have made, General.
Thanks, Chair. General, Mabonga, apart from being known as a child,
Come again, that.
Mabonga.
Okay, Mabong.
Yeah, Mabonga.
Yes.
Apart from being known as a child of some taxi, what, in KZN, he was a well-known thug in Gauteng, a criminal of note. Was that known to you at that time?
Well, I know that he has been arrested at some time. Criminal of note, not exactly, but arrested. Yes, I know that he had a criminal record, Honorable Member.
Proceed, SC.
Sorry, you met Mr. Matlala several times since. And you also were made aware of an email. Sorry, it's because you don't send WhatsApps. It's a WhatsApp
Okay.
from Brown Mokhotsi on the 22nd of January, where he says, and I'm just reading, it's on page 27 of to the annexures. Sorry, it's in the body of your affidavit, sorry. On page 27. You'll see the name Dlamini, but that's also another name for Matlala. Yeah. So you'll see are you okay?
SC, I want to bring in Honorable Nomvalo just before you start.
Yeah, no, I just need some clarification, Chair, because I don't want to assume that the minister meant what he wrote here on his affidavit, because he might write something and say something else which does not accord with what he has written here. When he was saying that it would have been nice to sleep in a free accommodation, was he actually confirming that indeed he slept in Matlala's apartment?
Yes,
or
I
flat?
did. Yes, I did. Sleep.
So, okay.
Yeah, I did twice.
Oh, you slept twice. Okay, thank you.
Are you fine?
Fine, Chair.
Thank you. SC, let's proceed.
I was trying to follow a sequence, Honourable Chair, and get there. But I was still, General, referring you to page 27 of your statement, which is this,
Page 27.
yeah, what's up from Matlala. This is a WhatsApp from Mokhotsi to Matlala on the 22nd of January this year.
Page 27
Yeah.
on my main statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll see in that WhatsApp you are mentioned there several times. In the first paragraph, there's reference to the 26 million tender. and they state here, it must be a mistake, but it says current Minister of Police Bheki Cele's signature is on the tender approval documents. But your signature is on the tender approval documents right at the end. But on the 25th of January, you weren't the current Minister of Police.
No, this document is when I was a National Commissioner, not Minister. It's when I was a National Commissioner in 2010,
sorry.
dealing with the accommodation of the police for 2010.
Thank you
then
for correcting me.
I
Yeah.
was signing documents as a National Commissioner, not as a Minister.
Yeah, and because they go on to talk about
Okay.
in collusion with the current National Police Commissioner,
Okay.
General Masimola.
Masimula
Yeah,
was head of policing, visible policing then.
Let me rather jump to the end of this WhatsApp, which says Cele was putting a lot of pressure for the then acting Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, to finalize these appointments. So just explain what this is all about. Is this
Read
the
there,
2010?
What is happening? Can you read again?
At the bottom of the WhatsApp, Cele was putting a lot of pressure for the then acting Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, to finalize these appointments. It was during this meeting whereby they all struck a deal that, Balushan and Perumal will make all the aforementioned cases to disappear, as well as Cele will be protected from prosecution for the 2010 World Cup tender corruption.
Where is Cele this time? Mkhwanazi is acting because Cele is suspended.
Where in his references? In his
Mkhwanazi is acting because Cele is suspended.
Yeah, no.
Now, Cele, from suspension, runs from suspension to come and put pressure on the acting National Commissioner to work on this thing.
No, it appears that they are reviving this issue of the 2010 tender, which you're aware of.
I'm aware of
You're
it.
aware of that,
Yeah.
that tender. But they're reviving that, and this is what you say in your affidavit at at paragraph 76. I understand that this was the text message that was to be used to try and bring charges against me. I do not know why bringing charges against me was part of the project discussed by Minister Nkunu and Brown Mkhotsi with Mr. Matlala. Since I'm no longer involved in government, I suspect, however, that it may relate to my continued involvement in politics in KZN, which is relevant for the upcoming ANC election.
I affirm. That's my statement.
But isn't the real reason why they, if it is the case that they want to draw you, suck you into this by reviving 2010 stuff, that they wanted you to put pressure on General Khumalo and his ongoing investigations into, amongst others, Matlala, Molefe, Mkhotsi, this whole syndicate?
I said, don't go too far. I don't know Mkhotsi, I don't know Molefe. I know Matlala. So if you pull them together, I might get confused because I don't know.
But you know, you've met Matlala. And,
Yeah.
yes, and he's telling you that.
But I don't know Molefe.
Yeah.
I've seen him getting the bail now and again. I've read that he has been arrested in London, but he still gets the bail after bail after bail. So, yes, and stories how he gets the bail, that somebody was paid for the bail and the police knew that he was going to pay so long he pays that person. So I don't know. I don't know Mkhotsi either. I only know that it comes from Mahikeng. This thing, it might be an issue, remains a suspicion to me, that is got to do with the processes of the African National Congress CAM conference. But a person who can affirm what's an issue is a person who wants me arrested using this 2012 and sending these things and promising Matlala that I'll be arrested soon. So that's a person that can explain.
Yeah.
My could be the suspicion that maybe the suspicion that I'm not supporting the cause of somebody becoming a president or deputy president. Maybe I'm supporting other people. That one is mine. I'm not going to tell you.
They say you must disclose that you're under oath. Okay, let's just move on. But you meet Matlala again in March. On the 18th of March, you meet him at Zimbali Estate, also in Durban.
Indeed.
And then you go on to say at paragraph 77, initially believed we were meeting at his residence, but I later learned that Hlangwani Morgan Maumela owned the property. Mr. Maumela is currently the subject of an investigation by the Hawks and the SIU concerning the extraction of 2.3 billion from Tembisa Hospital.
Okay.
At the time, you say, of the visit to the you were unaware that it was actually belonged to Mr. Maumela. I received numerous queries from a journalist, Jeff Wicks, concerning my relationship with Maumela. I can confirm that I do not have any relationship with Maumela.
I meet Matlala because now we're engaged on this presidential thing and me and all that, but talk other things. One thing that took me aback in the meeting of Zimbabwe is when I saw his protection guys. And I began to say that looks like there are faces I know here. What nearly made me fall down is when he told me that some of those guys, 23 of them, has recruited them from Special Task Force of the Army. I said to myself, what is this? He has taken 23 of the Special Task Force of the Army to guard him.
They're even recruiting some of our best, highly trained officers.
Let's say I'm giving you the story that scared me. Why I'm scared of this story is because I've spoken to Nhlanhla earlier on and gave me the information that we have lost 56 members of the Special Task Force of Police to the taxi industry. 56. Now, I'm told that to train one member of the Special Task Force is 1.1 million to be all-rounder. One. We have lost 56 to the taxi industry. Maybe there where I threaten you of knowing. But I've got two issues here. That I can't have such a production to the private security. That's the first fear. The second fear is that looks like we're increasing the capabilities of the private security versus the state. Because I don't care how many you send, there will be a serious battle between 56 guys in the taxi industry with the 20 guys you send of the Special Task Force. So it is something that must be,
Yes, General?
is something that must be corrected, Chair. Indeed, Masimula and me, we engaged the taxi guys in KZN to say, bring back our men. They say, we pay them better. We pay them better. Talk to them. I say, guys, can we go back home? They say, Minister, we love the page. National Commission, we love the page, but we don't eat the page. Maybe that's one thing that we'll have to see what we do with our people that have high capabilities so that we keep them in a proper way. Maybe that's one case that as legislators will deal with. So I go back, Commissioner and I will go back and we discuss. We say, Commissioner, we have a leeway here of dealing with this 56. We had 3 meetings with them. The last meeting was in HR where we were preparing to bring them back. Not all of them that came back, but a big chunk came back. The leeway was that special task guys, both army and police, they have a special allowance. The special allowance started same level, both of them, at 6,000 some years ago. Soldiers have moved to quite a high, I don't know whether to say the figure where they've moved. They've moved there as a special allowance. And the police have stayed there at the bottom. So we agreed with the National Commission that move them up where they are, which is more than 20,000 from 6,000. And then agreed, and they said, Minister, with pleasure, if you're taking care of us, we'll go back home. By the time I left, so they were being processed, quite several of them, they were going back to the police. Well, I heard Minister Mkhunu said he has fixed the matters of the special forces. No, that process started when Cele was there. But it was going to start with special forces, goes with the NIU and the CATs. CATs are not too many, and then goes to the TROT, that few that are still there. Now, with that process, SC, comes information that 23 of the army now are in the payroll of a private guy called Matlala. Anyway, I began to see them at the funeral, Honorable Malema. I began to see them at the funeral where we were together. I said, I know these voices, but at that funeral, there were more guns and flowers.
Which funeral is that?
That was Mswazi. The guy called Mswazi Mnisi, who was a taxi guy. So there were more guns and flowers. And I said to them, what is everyone you were hitting?
It's Guns and Roses.
Maybe guns, but there were more guns. So because it was a big guy in the taxi industry. Many of taxi guys, they came with helicopters in that funeral. They did not drive. Honorable Julius will remember there were many helicopters. I asked some of them, why did you use helicopters? They say no, because he was buried in his farm. You had to drive through the bush. So it was not any other thing, was to make sure that they go there. So you could see that this private security is taking the capabilities of the state. So somebody had to do something with it. And Matlala is part of him increasing his own private capability. I don't know where that is arrested now. I don't know where those guys are that have left the special task force of the army. Remember, while they train similar, but when chips are really down, those are the guys that you bring in. And they're in the private hand.
Yeah, so General, what you describe is most disturbing, isn't it? It's high level crime, sophisticated, even buying off or inducing some of our top police and army, specially trained officers, to actually employ them on their side. And obviously they're involved in what is clearly a criminal enterprise. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't have that evidence that they're involved in what is criminal.
For what purpose would they want these people to be surrounded by people
Well,
that's
they
heavily
call
armed?
them their protectors, but it's not only them here, SC, that could be blamed. The state also must take some form of responsibility. You can't train those people. I usually call them human machines and don't take care of them. I blame them for going and all that. I don't know what are they taught to do in the private arm, but the state will have to look at them. You train me highly, you keep me highly. Simple and straightforward.
So just to continue, what I
Counsel,
think,
yes, sir.
what emerges from
Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted clarity from the witness. The Kat Matlala, you said you met him in Belleville Hills in December last year, if I remember well.
Correct.
And then you say at the funeral, if I hear you well, hence I'm looking for a clarity from you. There were a lot of guns than flowers. And was Matlala there?
No, I didn't see him.
So the security company, you don't know what security company was there?
There were many taxi guys. These guys are split. Those taxi, they just take. I think they pay them well. But they are not taken by one taxi boss. They're taken by many. So a person that, and I'm sure you know the person that was being buried there.
Yeah, I know, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you know him very well. Sure you know him very well. I'm sure you also know a person that is at war with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him too. So that is buried. So all these guys, they come because I guess everybody that is in the taxi industry knew in that particular day who was buried. I was there in that funeral. The Honorable Malema was there. Honorable Figile Mbalule was there. And the three of us, we spoke at the funeral. We all spoke at the funeral. So it was a very high profile. I haven't checked, but I might suspect that Matlala could be there, but I don't have that information, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair.
You may
So-
proceed, SC.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. So, Minister, you seem to suggest that it's understandable that some of these initially or former police officers, military officers, highly trained, at 1.2 million rand a shot that taxpayers spend on training them, that it's understandable that they cross the floor and go and work for these syndicates because they get more pay, and that, are you saying that to stop this, we should pay our officers more? Is this one of the ways in which we can stop this criminal activity? And why do you? I think you also mentioned that that you went back to actually negotiate the return of some of these officers back, to integrate them back into the police force.
I would not agree with you.
A huge risk.
I would not agree with you that they work for syndicates. Especially the police task force are recruited by the taxi industry. Those are not syndicates. There might be a lot of criminality there, but to call the taxi industry syndicates, having not have that information, will be a problem. There is one thing I know with the taxi industry, is a lot of death and a lot of guns on it. I said I was the provincial MEC for transport. I spent a lot of time dealing with them. So I would sit with you here, SC, have a meeting, and then I say tomorrow we'll come back and finish the meeting, and your chair will be empty. Next day, your chair will be empty because you are gone forever. So that's what happens with that industry. Anybody who understands that industry is a brutal. There is a question they ask there. If you want to buy taxis, do you have a stick to protect the job? That's a gun. So if you are going to be in the taxi industry, you must have a gun too. That's how it goes. So I would not then say taxi industry are syndicates, but I wouldn't say that those recruited by those that are associated with syndicates like Matlala are not abused and used for that. But I would not sit here and say taxi industry guys are syndicates.
May we take Honorable Malem?
Minister, you'll agree that there is a difference between personal protectors and inkabi. Because when a person is employed to look after you as a high profile or a taxi person, that person does exactly that. And there are people who are hired to kill people. And that is the purpose of hiring inkabi for that purpose. Am I correct?
You are correct, Honorable Member, but it does happen that the very same protectors are used sometimes as inkabi and come back to their job. But there is a pool of people that are there just calling their price. There is that group of people. So that's why, and there are people that genuinely protect their principals. They call them their principals, even in taxi industry and all that. And I would not call those people syndicates.
Thank you. Yeah, perhaps I shouldn't generalize, and I certainly don't or didn't intend to portray the whole of the taxi industry. They are organized. We know here in Cape Town anyway, where I stay, there's two, Kodeta and Kodesa, and the two organizations. So they are organized. But obviously it would be irresponsible to say they're involved in organized crime. They are however involved in a fierce battle, but they do also a great public service transporting our people. But it was more in the context of this picture that this narrative that comes from your evidence, that you meet this high-powered guy in December, a guy, just knows about this raid with one of your top, when you were minister, one of your top policemen, General Kumalo, wants you to do a favor, and then you meet him. You've read this article about him, and clearly I think you had agreed that it doesn't paint a nice picture about him, at the very least. Raises suspicions.
I would agree.
And then you go to a funeral, and then you go to Zimbabwe, and then you didn't know that this is another, well, according to the media anyway, notorious person's house. So Minister, you either you unwittingly, unknowingly are drawn into this web of dark criminality, or you go in there with your eyes open. Which one is it?
Let me again put some light on it. Funeral has got nothing to do with Kat Matlala. So I didn't go to the funeral because of Kat Matlala and all that. It was Mr. Mnisi called Swazi who died in hospital. So because I have worked with him in dealing with the problem of taxi industry. So as a person I know. So it's got nothing to do with Matlala at that particular time. Though I have learned SC and Honorable Madam, that his security has also looked after Mswas of Kat Matlala, which puts a clash between Matlala and Joe. I'm sure we know Joe. And Joe, it comes from there, and they all come from Mpumalanga. They all come from Mpumalanga. That's why he knows them. He knows them very well. And there would be issue, and there would be stories about them, and even the Honorable Skosana would know the stories, but we still meet them. But we know the stories. We know the story of Ucho and Sibanyon that everybody talks, but we still meet and we still talk. But I want to go to Zimbabwe, because the article says I went to who's the guy Maumela, yeah. He says I went to the house of Maumela, and then Maumela gave me the code. I don't know why would you dramatize having a code of entering Zimbabwe, because in Zimbabwe you enter with code. Now, why should it come as a secret weapon that you had a code? Anybody who goes to Zimbabwe enters through the code of the owner there. And then I go there to talk, and then I'm in this beautiful house, the beach house.
It looks like you, since your retirement, you're living it up.
Not necessarily.
You in high-end Beverly Hills,
I saw it
Zimbabwe.
once. No, Zimbabwe, I've been there several times, not because of... I've gone there to see many people. Minister Nkosazana sometimes stay there. I used to go there. The king has stayed there. I've gone to... So it's nothing wonderful about seeing Kat at Zimbabwe. I have been in Zimbabwe to see people. I've had conferences at Zimbabwe, one of the top hotels and all that. But the story I want to make, the journalist leaves the message to say, I went to see Kat at Zimbabwe, which is not a secret. It's not a secret, it's got nothing to secret. And then he writes something to say the house was Maumela. I didn't know. The house, Kat told me that he had 2 houses in Zimbabwe. So this is one of these houses. So I heard it from the journalist that the house was Maumela. But the journalist accuses me. He writes the message, and he says, the journalist says to me, I don't want to talk to you. I still have those messages. I don't want to talk to me. Write down. I have told the journalist before that I don't write. The journalist is trapping me. He wants me to write. I told him that I don't write, but he says this time, I don't want to speak to you. I'll not write. I don't write. I phoned the journalist 10 times. I phoned the journalist 10 times. He's got 10 missed calls, which are dramatic with Matlala. But he doesn't write that I phoned him 10 times, not finding him, the journalist. And the journalist goes to point 3, raised 3 points. Point 3 says, he is aware and the fact that I have benefited from who's this guy? Benefited from Maumela. I've stayed in his house. I was in his house. I've been driven around. I don't know Maumela. I go back, after I came back from the 10 calls, I go back to say, why do you say I know Maumela? Said, I didn't know that you don't know, so I retract that. But he has written the story. He has written the story, the journalist.
Okay.
Maybe Mkhwanazi is correct on that one, and I concur with that journalists, they develop some kind of narratives that they want to be there. That journalist, he knows the journalist, what he has done. And ever since, he has not written the story, has not come back to me. But he didn't write the story. He sent an apology to me. He sent, the
Honorable
journalist
Nola.
sent an apology to me to say he made a mistake to say I know Maumela. He meant that I know Matlala. And that journalist knows long time ago that I know Matlala. Why would he make that? He believed that I'm not going to answer and was going to write the story of me moving around with Maumela, creating narratives.
Thanks, Chair. General, you don't write or you can't write. You are just unable to construct a
Both.
paragraph. Both. Okay.
No. If you say I can't write, no, I can write, but I can't write the SMS message.
Okay, thanks.
Julius, Honorable Julius only knows that Massimula can't write the English. So he didn't know
looks
that
like it's a general problem in the service. We need to look at it on how do we give support.
It's not a general problem, it's a problem of generals. Honorable Mali.
General, were you not a teacher at some point?
Yes, I used to teach.
So you are a teacher by profession?
Yes.
So you used to write?
At the blackboard.
At the chalkboard?
It was green that time. I used to write on the green. So there were no gadgets during my teaching.
You can only write with chalk, with a crayon.
Yeah, the chalk
on
and
the board.
the
Proceed,
dust and
SC.
all that. You know.
I have given you until 4. Yourself, until 4.
Uninterrupted.
Yeah, uninterrupted.
General, can we just deal with some of the further allegations against you in relation to Mr. Matlala? Now, you say at paragraph 78.1 that you left government in June 2024, and of course these days like you already said at the outset here today, any travel and accommodation is at your own expense. But that, so when Mr. Matlala offered you the use of his penthouse when you were in Pretoria, you took up his offer.
Yes.
But that was when you were now a private citizen,
Yes.
not in your, when you were still Minister of Police.
I've long left the government. Left the government June. This is January.
How many times did you visit his penthouse?
Twice.
Stay twice. So at paragraph 78, you say that it is reported that Mr. Matlala sent a message to the staff of his penthouse on 27 January 2025. As you said yourself, everything seemed to happen in January, in which he stated the following: "Good day, can you do me a favor? There is a friend of mine who's also a business partner. He is former Minister of Police Bheki Cele. When he's in Pretoria, can you please ask management to inform the staff at the front desk to grant him access to my penthouse?"
Well, I think I've spoken to that, especially the journalist did ask me, because this is from the journalist. The journalist did ask me of being a business partner. I said to the journalist, that is the easiest thing to check. You go and check the registration of the who you register with who? With intellectual property, blah, blah, to a business. Check that if there is any business registered in my name. And come and show me that. Don't ask that from me. And I said, I don't have any business that I run. Secondly, I'm not a friend to Matlala. I met Matlala in December. So he is my acquaintance, but a friend in December and already a friend in January, that would be taking it too far. We are not a friend. I know him, acquaintance. There are matters that we talk about. I don't know his house. He doesn't know my house. I don't know. I only know him. I guess he only knows me. So friends would know more than that per that person. So I deny. I don't agree that he's my friend. He's my acquaintance. I will stand by that.
We're going to add the word friend now to the lexicon of the Ad Hoc Committee.
Immediately.
Immediately.
No word will
Comrade,
be, no
associate,
word,
friend.
no word will beat immediately.
So, so General, just on the Medicare 24, contract, I think we covered much of it already, but that contract, or that, the tender was awarded on the 18th of June 2024, and that was shortly after your tenure as Minister of Police ended.
Correct.
But you had no role in the award, the award of the tender.
I know nothing, not only that, I know nothing about supply chain matters in the South African Police Service.
I mean, you don't sign off on the award. It's the National Commissioner who signs off on the
It's
award.
a national commission.
And that's after evaluation,
Yes.
adjudication,
Adjudication and all that,
award.
yes. Ministers don't sign on tenders.
Then, just second lastly, the allegation that you tried to push out Lieutenant General Khumalo in his evidence before the Matlanga Commission, Lieutenant General Mkonazi alleged that you had attempted to persuade the Divisional Head of Crime Intelligence, Lieutenant General Khumalo, to resign from SAPS to protect Lieutenant General Khan from investigation and internal disciplinary processes. And these allegations are outlined in an article which is annexed as BC 11. BC 11 is on page 89 of the annexes. It's headed, Mkonazi Cele tried to push crime intelligence head out of SEP's Matlanga Commission.
Interestingly, when Anne Mary speaks of the Khumalo that didn't know anything was in the ORS, he meant that Khumalo, who happens to be Jablan Khumalo. This is a researcher. It can't differentiate between Tumsan Khumalo and Jablan Khumalo. So this is Jablan Khumalo, who is a member of the Special Task Force. As a brigadier, he came to head ORS after Mkhwanazi has been promoted. After Mkhwanazi has been the acting national commissioner, so he came here. So there were issues that were raised, by the members of the Special Task Force to say things aren't going very well. They say they were not assessed, they were not getting training, or raising things. I took them to the National Commissioner, who happened to be Stole at the time, to say, Commissioner, for me it's a serious matter when this group of people complain so much this is not the group of people that needs to complain, because when chips are down, those are the people that will revert back to them. So, but they were complaining about Kumal and all that. I must say, in my stance with police, both as a national commissioner and the minister, I've buried one member of the special task force. SC, by the way, that's one thing with the South African police. You bury every weekend. Those guys are dying. Police are dying. The sad thing, they die young. After establishing this SAPET Education Trust, it was after the funeral I attended at Kraaifontein as a national commissioner, where a police officer we're burying was 23. The wife standing on the open grave was 19. In her arms was a 3 months old. I said to the management, let's do something. What happens to these kids? Look, this guy is only the year. To accumulate anything in the South African police, at least you need to take 10 years. They die 0. It is on that score that the management also has agreed, SC, to give what we call a special death grant, so that there is something that the junior you are, actually it goes to the juniors, it doesn't go to generals, and it goes, because if you die first year, second year on the job, your family have just said something good is happening in this house, and boom, they don't know how to bury you. So we came there with that policy in the South Africa to say, junior you are help, so that there are funerals and all that they take care of. But the kids, it's that if you die on the line of duty, they must take you to school. That education trust must take you to school at least until the junior degree. That's what happened. I think there are close to 2,000 kids now that have been taken through. We wanted to make it independent, that not to be run by the police. Hence, its first chairperson of the trustees was Mkhatshwa, Smangaliso Mkhatshwa. We wanted eminent South Africans. Was Smangaliso Mkhatshwa, was Judge Mohoro, was Chaka Chaka. Those were the first person whom Pierre came and fired them. Okay. As she claimed that he started the subset, she didn't. She found it there. Now, I think I don't know much now, but I know, Chair, that is a certain prominent business person in Jaka. I don't know if people they know Jaka. He's a business person in South Africa. So, because we want it to be independent, and they run the thing. So it comes from there. It comes from there that we must be able to take care of ours so that they are focused on their work going forward, SC. And I hope that everybody contribute. I saw the Mkwana's social media inviting people to the golf match so that they can fundraise for that, and he has been good on that one.
General, you didn't answer this aspect arose.
SC, let me take Honorable Malem.
No, Minister wanted to tell us about businessman Jaka or something, and then you left him in relation to this fund.
He's a chair of the subset now. Yeah, he's a chair of the education trust of this, the man that educates offense of the police. He's on that congress.
Thank you. So perhaps let me just remind you what your response was. The allegation by Lieutenant General Konazi that you tried to get Lieutenant General Kumalo to resign in order to protect Lieutenant General Khan.
Let me respond to that.
Yeah, you said that the allegation is without merit. The Premier of Gauteng approached me to see if I could recommend someone from SAPS for a key high-level position in Gauteng related to safety and security. I considered Lieutenant General Kumalo because he had worked well together and I was well aware of his capabilities. I approached Lieutenant General Kunazi to inquire if he had any difficulties with me approaching Lieutenant General Kumalo concerning this position. The insinuation that I sought to approach Lieutenant General Kumalo to protect Lieutenant General Khan from investigation is unwarranted. At the time of my discussion, which took place after I was no longer Minister of Police, I was unaware of the internal processes within SAPS and that Lieutenant General Khan was undergoing disciplinary processes. Moreover, there is nothing sinister or unlawful about me inquiring whether Lieutenant General Kumalo would be interested in a position in the Gauteng government. You confirm that's what your response?
General Mkhwanazi is a good cop, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have faults.
Yeah.
There is no human being that is. Some of them serious faults, but I guess will be genuine faults rather than criminality and all that. Kumalo, well, maybe the statement there is not full of what General Mkhwana said. He said he was disappointed on Minister Cele and never spoke to him thereafter, if you finish the statement that he said. Panyaza, the Premier, having created Amapanya, I'm sure they were condemned yesterday. But I know for sure that those Mapanya were given certificate by the Minister of Justice. I know for sure. But he is also, him and Premier of KZN are also MECs of safety in their provinces, both of them. Now, Panyaza says, Cele, I met him in Pretoria. In Apache, not in place of Kat. No. So he says, I want you to work with me to coordinate all security agencies in Gauteng to fight crime. I agree with that because there are 4 provinces that gives us sleepless night when it comes to crime in South Africa. 3 full KZN, Western Cape, Gauteng, and half Eastern Cape. They give us nightmares. So if anybody says, I'm prepared to put more resources in my province, Gauteng, that will help us a lot to deal with it. So he approaches me, but he says, I say to him, look, Premier, it will be good to work with you, but I'm not an operative. I'm not. Though I was a national commissioner, people saying this national commissioner who is a civil. I'm not a civilian, by the way, I'm a soldier. I'm trained fully. Heavily so. So I'm not a civilian. Don't talk to me as a civilian, I'm a soldier. So I know the mentality of the armed forces. And I've been, all my life, by the way, I've been a commissar. And I can give you the prescription and the job of the commissar. I've been a commissar in the camps. All where I've gone, I've been I've never been a commander, but I've been a commissar all my life. So I then said to Premier, I'm not a commander. We'll have to get a person that will command and coordinate all the forces.
Who was your commander?
Was
When you were commissar, who was your commander?
was JZ. All my life, Julius, I was commanded by Commander JZ. In exile and inside the country, that's my commander, Commander Zuma. So now he says, invite a person that will do the job. I say, I know there is a Khumalo. He's a major general, not a lieutenant general. He's a major general. He was at Tugela district at the time. And I knew that he was at Tugela because I worked with him very closely dealing with the taxi industry together with Mandla Kaba and all those dealing with the taxi. There were low high rate of murder around Lady Smith. So I knew him. We worked with him all the time. So with the respect that I have for Mkhwanazi, I don't phone Khumalo. I phoned Mkhwanazi to speak to Khumalo. And then, good, he said you speak to. Khumalo says he said I'll speak to him, he loves the police, he's not going to leave the police and all that. By the way, it's not a crime. If you come to Western Cape Province, there are so many police officers that have been taken from the South African police and are working for municipality. Recruited. So somebody used the English, I think was one journalist, that I lured Khumalo to Gauteng. Those that understand Zulu, Tulu is not ukheha. If I lure you, ukukholelo party. Those that know English, they can explain. But if somebody said I've lured you, ukukholelo party, so I'm pulling you out of your way so that I can mess you up. That's the word lure. I did not. I recruited him. I approached him. He says, I love the badge. I'll stay here. That's fine. And then I went to Lusofi, the premier. So Mkhwanazi did not come back to me. I hear when he makes the presentation that he was very angry with me and disappointed. He never spoke to me. As we speak, it was somewhere last year or early this year. But it's not true that Mkhwanazi never spoke to me thereafter. The last time Mkhwanazi sent the message was June this year. So it's not true that he never spoke to me. He sent me the message about the murder that happened in Newcastle of, I think, Rafferty, the farmers that were killed there. So I phoned and we spoke. I asked what happened to that case. He sent me the message to say those people are arrested. So it's not true that he never spoke to me. Aye, we did speak.
Can we just round off, General?
So I'm rounding off by saying, Khumalo has been interviewed. The case, Mkhwanazi said, I did not like Khumalo. I'm not in business of liking. I'm in business of working with you. Khumalo, I would not have approached a person that I don't like. I said I work with Khumalo with the taxi and all that. He's a capable commander that would have come. That's why he was approached. If he feels I don't like, as Mkhwanazi feels I don't like him, so they can give me the measurements of liking. So how high, how deep it goes, the liking. But I don't work with you because I like or I don't like you. I work with you because you are capable of doing your job. Thereafter, I approached another officer who is a brigadier. I spoke to commissioner, to say national commissioner, because he runs the projects of Western Cape and the project of Mangoes, to say, can we request, he's a brigadier, and the brigadier says, I love the police, I'm not going to leave the police. There was nothing sinister about recruiting people. And remember, we are still recruiting these people to government. We are not even taking them to the private industry. We are recruiting to the other level of government. So I don't know what was a big deal about it.
So just lastly, General, Lieutenant General Kwanazi also alleged that you directly linked to suspicious money transfer from Matlala into a third-party bank. Sorry. Is it related to this? Can we just received a message which I can't read now or understand. Can we take the break and come back and then just allow me a few minutes to clarify it when we return?
We're taking a 40
Sorry,
minutes.
General, it's
A 40 minutes break. Yeah. Yeah. Is there too much for you? Because I want to check if you are ready, because when we come back here, I'm taking questions from you. So I wanted to give you time to rehearse your questions. You are ready? I'm reducing from 40. If you are ready, I'm reducing from 40 to 15 minutes. I'm giving you a break immediately. 15 minutes. Can we break immediately?